Leaf Blade comes in and hits, and... What? Okay! 7-star Hisuian Samurott is finally here, and most of the builds that we've seen so far have revolved around legendaries or mythical Pokemon. However, we have found a Pokemon that is much more easily accessible, that is easy to use for this one, and does insane amounts of damage. So today, let's take a look at Hisuian LILIGANT and how you're going to use this to absolutely dominate 7-star Hisuian Samurott. Let's get to it. And here is Hisuian LILIGANT. So this one, honestly, super easy to use, super easy to build. I would like to give credit to one of my mods, Wither, who kind of brought this one to my attention and kind of built this one out. So way to go, man. This is a good one. Anyway, Hisuian LILIGANT is grass and fighting type with a grass Tera type on this one. It's level 100 with the Shell Bell as the held item here. Your EVs are maxed out in your physical attack and physical defense with an adamant nature, and your ability is Hustle. Okay, so yeah, attacks boosted but accuracy is lowered, which means you do have a chance of missing with this one. Okay. Moveset for this one is Worry Seed, Charm, Sword Stance, and Leaf Blade on this one. So the basic strat here is turn 1, you're going to come in and use Charm. After that, turn 2, you're going to use Worry Seed, and we're going to do that in that order because Charm's going to negate out the Sword Stance that Hisuian Samurott does turn 0. Okay? Worry Seed turn 2, turns 3 and 4, use Charm again. Alright, after that, you're going to do Sword Stance 3 times, and then start running Leaf Blade until Hisuian Samurott's in the ground. Tera when you can, and you just do stupid amounts of damage here. Okay, so this one, honestly, super easy build, super easy to use, and does a ridiculous amount of damage. But with that, let's see what it looks like in a raid. But there he is! There's Hisuian Samurott, who has been humiliated now by a hedgehog and a bike. And now we're gonna humiliate it with Hisuian LILIGANT. Okay? So, here's how this strat works on this one. It's gonna Sword Stance turn 1, which is fine. It's gonna put it at +2. We're gonna use Charm to get it immediately back down to like just normal attack. Also, having Tauros there with Intimidate is super helpful on this one as well. Okay, does not affect Hisuian LILIGANT, which is phenomenal. Speed falls, but we really don't care about it. Okay, and at that was a big one. So now that his attack's back down, we're gonna run Worry Seed again. Sacred Sword goes off and hits, which is fine. We run Worry Seed, which gets rid of the Sharpness ability. Getting rid of the Sharpness ability is kind of huge on this one, because that means that now it's no longer boosted attack. Then after that, we run Charm again for 2 more times. Okay, so Charm, attack drops again, which is phenomenal. We run Charm again. Sacred Sword hits, doesn't do a whole lot to us. Okay, so now that that hits, we're good to go. Shield goes up, which is, you know, that's fine. We got everything off that we needed. At this point, it's gonna nullify stats on our side. Since it lowers stats on our side, we're in a good spot now to start running Sword Stance. So Sacred Sword goes off and hits. It's doing essentially nothing here, which is like totally fine. I mean, we really don't care if it's doing nothing. All right, we're honestly, at this point, we're low enough. We're gonna run a Heal Cheer this turn, just to make sure that we don't get KO'd before we get everything off. Which we didn't get a big Heal Cheer, but you know, it do be like that sometimes. Sometimes you get a low roll, and it's like that. I mean, Sacred Sword hits at -6. It's doing like 9 points of damage. So we're good. We start running, as long as we don't get crit on this one, we're good. That's 2 Sword Stances, which is beautiful. And at 2 Sword Stances, we can start running Leaf Blade, just to get some HP back with Shell Bell. So we run Leaf Blade, big boy damage. We get it back up. Now we're good to go again. We throw up the last sword stance to get ourselves up at +6. Sacred sword hits. We really don't care about it. We're at +6 now. We've only been through about 25% of the raid at this point. And now we just run Leaf Blade. That's literally all we do. Sacred sword hits, does like 20 points of damage max. Leaf Blade does, holy Jesus. Leaf Blade does a lot of damage at +6. And we just keep doing the same thing now. It's just Leaf Blade until it's done. So Leaf Blade, at this point, we should be back up at max HP. Or pretty close to it at that point. And then after that, we can Tera. Once we Tera, this is the big part here because now we get that extra stab. Okay, so Tera, Leaf Blade at +6. Hisuian Samurott's at -6. Okay, so now we're just gonna do the big boy damage. All right, Sacred Sword hits, does a little bit of damage because of the crit, not as much as it could. Leaf Blade comes in and hits, and what? Okay, yeah, woo. So yeah, Hisuian LILIGANT, man. That's the way to go. Focus energy comes in and does that. We're back down at, what are we at? We're at +0 at this point now. We're at -1 speed. However, if we use Leaf Blade here, okay, you can see this is what Leaf Blade does at like +0 with no shield. Still does a huge chunk of damage, is enough to put us back up. He's used focus energy, which is fine. X Scissor comes in and hits, but X Scissor's not doing anything to us because he's at +0. And at this point, if you wanted to, you could come in and use Sword Stance again. Okay? You could come in and use Sword Stance again, get yourself back up to +6, and essentially just one-shot this thing. However, with the amount of damage he's doing, it's not really worth it. Just keep using Leaf Blade, and it's going to take you 3 turns, and, you know, you're just going to go... I mean, you're just going to take him down. We're at 50% time left on this one. Hisuian Samurott removes negative effects from itself. We really don't care. You know. And then we come in, and the final thing that we do is we run Leaf Blade one last time. X Scissor hits, does quite a bit of damage, but it's not enough to KO us with the crit. And we use Leaf Blade for the final time, and there you go. Hisuian Samurott taken down by Hisuian LILIGANT. Honestly, pretty easy raid. That's about all you have to do with this one. I mean, I know we've talked about Shaman and Miraidon. Those are not necessarily the most accessible Pokemon in the world. However, Hisuian LILIGANT is honestly much more accessible, much easier to use, and you're gonna have a way easier time finding this, whether it's trading for it in game or finding it through like Pokemon Home through the GTS system on there. Okay, but that's it. That's all you have to do. So get out there if you want an easier build to use that's more widely available. Hisuian LILIGANT works really well. That's all. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Later.